No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. We're going to be talking about investing again today, but with a little bit of a twist. We're going to get into some safe money alternatives as well. In my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement, I talk about the different stages, if you will, some of the different topics that we cover quite a bit on the show that are very important to you in planning for your retirement. So chapter 1 and 2 deal with the planning process. It's about, where do I stand? I need to look at my income, my expenses, my assets, my liabilities, gather all that information. I need to factor in for inflation and taxes, rates of return on my money, all of that to get an idea of what my financial future is going to look like based on what I'm doing today and how important that is. If you know what your financial future is going to be, it's one of the biggest questions I get when new clients come in to see me is, will I be able to retire when I want? Right? Am I going to have enough money to not worry about running out of money? And even those that are already retired have those same concerns. Am I going to be able to maintain my standard of living and quality of life no matter how long I live and not worry about running out of money? And for a couple, of course, it's making sure for both of them that would be the case. And if they have legacy goals, then they want to make sure those are going to be met as well. Well, the only way to do that is you have to do the planning, right? Again, failing to plan is planning to fail. Not knowing what that future is going to be based on what you're doing, how do you make good choices? How do you make good decisions? How do you not be very anxious, in fact, about your future? Well, we're going to cover some things with that today. And part of it, again, as I talk about in the book, the first 2, again, is on the planning process, how to get that foundation down. And that helps us determine what's the needed rate of return on your money to attain your goals. All right, and then we put together the investment plan. And we, of course, talk about your risk tolerance, how comfortable you are with different types of risk. One of those being maybe stock market risk, of course, right? And we're going to talk about that today. As far as the overall planning is, how can I then attain my goal, that needed rate of return, while minimizing risk and volatility in my portfolio? That's going to give me a lot more peace of mind going forward. So we're going to talk about safe money alternatives that can be added in to that portfolio, that base portfolio. So we start with the portfolio. Asset allocation, as you know, the biggest determinant of what you're going to get for return as well as risk in your portfolio. So we start there. How can we get the market risk we need, right, while minimizing risk and volatility at the same time? And then what other safe money strategies can I bring to bear that may help that even more? It may help me boost up that return a little bit while minimizing or reducing the risk even further. So that's what good planning is about. Chapter 3, I talk about IRA mastery. When you start taking money out of those retirement accounts in retirement, guess what? You're going to be paying tax on them. Do you have a tax plan? That's part of the overall plan, right? We have to have a good plan to minimize taxes. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. And if you want to keep more, you need to make sure you're not paying more in tax than you're legally required to pay. How to minimize tax, how to have a tax-efficient investment plan and a tax-efficient income plan in retirement is crucial to that. Chapter 4, how the safe money. All right, this we get into how the safe money, or well, different types of safe money, we'll say. Mixing chapter 4 and 5 here. The safe money, that would be things like bank money, right? CDs, savings, checking, money markets, fixed annuities. These are all types of safe money where your principal's guaranteed, you've got a guaranteed rate of return, and you're basically, this is the safe place. This is where I can put some. Now, what's the problem? Well, some of the things we're going to cover today, one being how low interest rates are and how that affects that safe money. It makes it very difficult to utilize safe money in an effective manner when you're getting on a CD less than 1% as an example for a return. So we're going to talk about some safe money alternatives that'll help you with that, and then how the smart money invests is on chapter 5. And of course, that's a big part of how that environment is changing. We start with modern portfolio theory, but as the world is changing in this changing environment, and we're seeing some things with regard to the S&P 500 index that is indicative of that. So the heavy weighting in a small concentration of companies and what impact that has on your investing, in particular going forward. So those companies have done well in recent years. In fact, in the last 10 years even. What about the next 10 years? Are they in fact overvalued, and could that mean that the S&P is set to take a dump, if you will, to go down in the other direction, to see us maybe go into a bear market, maybe even into a recession? These are some real risks that we want to address and help you plan for your future in that. And then, of course, Chapter 6, we get into long-term care. We're not going to talk about that one today, but good planning will help you with that area as well. And, of course, estate planning wraps it all up. So those are all topics that we cover today. We're going to focus in on safe money and how the smart money invests, how to invest in the stock market, what to reduce your risk. And joining me to help with that today again is Jeremy Rettich over in Brentwood Virtue Capital. And Jeremy, welcome to the show again. Good to see you.
Good to be here, Hank. Thanks for having me again.
You know, we've been having a lot of fun talking about stop loss principles, talking about equal weight indexes versus market weight indexes. Covered a lot over in recent weeks, and I want to continue that with some of what's happening. And I noticed in your recent newsletter, one of those areas was talking about how the stock market has done in the first quarter, and then, of course, how the bond market has done as well. So why don't you, maybe you'd give a little commentary on that part to start.
Yeah, sure. So we just wrapped up, as we all know, the first quarter here in 2021 already. If you can believe it, we're in April. Time certainly does fly. And for the S&P and the Dow Jones, both had Dow was up almost 7%, S&P was up almost 6%, NASDAQ lagged, right? But it's been a leader for some time. It was up about 2%. For the first quarter, and in the month of March in particular, it was the best month for the S&P and the Dow since November of last year. So first quarter was a good quarter by and large. It was for stocks, it was for commodities as well as the U.S. dollar, but for bonds it was not. It was actually the worst quarter that we've had in over 40 years. So 4 decades. So it's a very different landscape that we're in today than we were even a year or 2 years ago. So to your point, Hank, about having a plan, it's crucial. You absolutely must have one, and work with somebody that has a lot of tools in the toolbox, right? Because this market environment is very different than it was previously. And you're going to have to navigate it in different ways. I mean, look at the interest rates, Hank, as you shared earlier, that they're at an all-time low. Or almost. Yeah,
this is one of the things when it comes to planning. Environment changes. So we're a big believer in a buy and hold strategy. It's like a core strategy, but that doesn't mean that we ignore everything else that's going on out there. In fact, we want to plan for these types of events that can affect us as far as our money. One of the biggest things that comes into good planning is making sure you have a stable income. So we start with that investment plan. We need to generate a certain amount of growth on that money. We need a certain basically needed rate of return to accomplish our financial goals. And we can run those numbers for you to help you with that as well. In fact, if you would like to get that kind of planning that I was just laying out for you there at the beginning, all you need to do is call my office at 615-376-5325. And when you call the office, we will do a comprehensive financial plan. Now, you're welcome to call in. If we're going to be sharing some information with you on, for instance, a stop loss overlay. We're going to define that. We're going to have a special report available to you. You can call in for that. We're also going to, if you just like an investment analysis, maybe see where you are there, we can help you with that. Or if you'd like the full-blown comprehensive financial plan at no cost, all you need to do is call the office, 615-376-5325, and we can help you with that. There you get a personalized plan. Try to help you here each and every week in basically setting you up for success in your retirement, to make sure that you're able to, as I mentioned many times, you want to at least be able to maintain your standard of living. Hopefully have fun money added in there to be able to enjoy the leisure activities when you have more time to do so. Those things that really bring you joy, whether that's family, whether that's just fun traveling, whatever it might be, we want you to be able to do that and more of it. So good planning can help with that. So if you'd like to, again, get a personalized plan just for you, 615-376-5325. We cover all kinds of topics. It is very comprehensive. Typically 2 to 3 visits to accomplish all that. I'm willing to invest in you if you're willing to invest in yourself. And by the way, when you call, we're going to get your information. We'll send you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. And when you come in and see me, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.